Hello everybody, I'm Elwirfy and today we are playing some more Stories from Seoul, the Gun Dog. Time to go ahead and jump right into it and give our report to the captain and see what's going on. Alright then, no sense in delaying the Captain Bardamu's. Yeah. Ah, all in a day's work, complete the security report. Lieutenant Riley Wirfs entering the bridge. You declare, stepping from the elevator and throwing a salute. Looking around at the room, you see Vanessa, who remains focused at her station, not paying you the slightest bit of attention, and Cassie, who stands from her station and comes over to you with a wide smile on her face. Yeah, Vanessa seems like trash. I'm not worried about her. She's whatever. As you remain at attention, you notice that the captain's chair is empty. Oh. At ease, Lieutenant. Captain Bardamus isn't with us, so I'm in charge of you today. Oh, okay. Great. A small tut comes from Vanessa. If Cassie heard it, she doesn't show it. Oh, is that right? I've come to make my report. That's right. Dr. Rosarium advised me that she'd suddenly taken ill. Vanessa makes another louder tutting noise. Cassie pauses for a split second but quickly carries on. So, he's ordered her to quarters for some bed rest. Okay, we're due to enter communications range with the O'Brien any moment now. From there, it's just a matter of coordinating our patrol paths. Okay, cool. Nothing I can't handle. Okay, great. Ahem. Oh, good God. She's so mean. Yeah, what the heck? Right, the security report, Lieutenant. Oh, yeah, of course. You clear your throat, feeling a bit awkward, although you'd been on the ship together for the past few days. You'd mainly seen each other between shifts where rank didn't really mean much. Cassie acting seriously didn't really seem like Cassie at all. That's fair. I mean, you know, you have a that's pretty common, right? In most relationships is that you get to know someone in a certain way, and then if you're in a different setting, it'll change how you perceive them. That's normal. Security report for April 23rd, PC 214. No breaches or hazards to report, ma'am. No sign of immediate threats or security risks to the ship herself, and all aboard operations proceeding as expected with little likelihood of disruption. Nothing? Well, the chief has run into some feedback issues on the long-range communication system that are impacting the visuals on the long-range targeting system. It doesn't seem to be enough to stop normal operations, though, and she's in the process of isolating the problem area to start repairs. That's a pretty fair assessment. Cadet Grange has also completed the system load to the high-density foam he's developed into training rounds for the Juno's weapons. He's scheduled to have produced enough rounds for tests in time for the next training exercises. Oh, that's great. Good for him. But that's about it. Business as usual. Here's my written report. You reach into your jacket pocket and take a hold of the written copy of your morning report as well as the completed checklist. Great. At the same time, you subtly shift the chocolate bar underneath the pad of paper. Holding onto both, you pull them out and present them to Cassie, the silent voice obscured by the documents. Thank you, Lieutenant. Taking both off you, Cassie quickly realizes there's something in addition to the report. She spots the chocolate bar underneath. Hey, great. Oh, sweet. I got an achievement, Sweet Tooth. Give Cassandra a chocolate bar. That's awesome. Well, Lieutenant Wirfs, looks like you're continuing to perform above and beyond. Perfect. I bribed her. Tell me, though, do you have any experience with the standard communications array? You pause for a moment, unsure what Cassie is getting at. Everyone in the JCF has at least rudimentary knowledge of how to work a ship's communication array. Yes, ma'am. I've had the necessary training to operate the communicom system aboard any JCF vessel. Great. Since the Captain Bardamus is ill, Vanessa and I are both pulling double shifts to make sure there's cover on the bridge. Okay. It'll just be me on the night shift tonight. You won't mind helping me out by manning some positions? Hey, why not? Did it freeze? Okay. Ahem. As Cassie turns away with the documents in hand, she glances across to a display screen showing the time. Vanessa, have we heard anything from the O'Brien? We're beyond the scheduled meetup window. Are we picking them up on sensors? There's nothing on the sensors, Lieutenant Commander. Not that this interference is making things easy. I'll try scanning on a different frequency bands in case the Obrian is having the same issue. Okay. Vanessa begins to flip switches and twist dials, filling the quietness of the bridge with a series of noises that range from annoying buzzes to painfully shrill screeches. After a few moments, a communication window on the main screen illuminates, and a slightly distorted voice speaks. O'Brien, do you read? We're at the rendezvous area, and we have a mission update. Please acknowledge. Repeat it. This is Lieutenant Bashir of the JFS O'Brien. JFS Gundog. Do you read? Oh, that's very cool. Oh, you can see the signals, too, that are coming through. And it shows you the signal strength is only at 46 to 47%. That's really interesting, actually. This is a lot of info. It's a low signal level with a static image. Cool. And voice bitrate is low. This is very, like, glitchy. We're at the rendezvous point area, and we have a mission update. Please acknowledge. With Lieutenant Bashir from the O'Brien relatively clear on the communication window, Cassandra hastily grabs a microphone. Roger that, JFS O'Brien. This is Lieutenant Commander Quinn from the JFS Gundog. We're picking you up your signal and have arrived at the rendezvous area. Please transmit your precise coordinates. Over. Cool. We read you. That's a sweet voice you've got there, Gundog. I'm transmitting the coordinates and mission update files now. It's good to finally... Oh. Lieutenant Bashir, do you read? Vanessa, are you still getting a signal from the... Oh. I'm not going to read while that sound's playing. Oh no, it's stuck on. The comms are being overloaded. There's a powerful signal coming in on all bands, and it's... Ah! Oh, shit. What the hell just happened? Oh god, we lost power. Is everyone okay? Commander Quinn? Commander Quinn. Cassie? Oh, shoot. So we're getting, like, laser attacks? Even before your eyes adjust to the minimal lighting of the bridge, you kneel down and reach out into the darkness, trying to find where Cassie has collapsed onto the desk. You search blindly for a few seconds until your hand meets her shoulder and you move towards her. Okay. Cassie. Hey, Cassie. Say something. Cassie. Ugh. Hang in there, Cassie. Okay, she's like knocked out almost. Lieutenant Lord, call sickbay and get the doctor up here right now. All right. I can't. Why not? The ship's entire system has been knocked offline. Even the emergency backup systems. It's all offline. Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured when all the power shut off. That was kind of obvious. Probably get hit by an EMP. We don't have time for this. Get it back online. That's going to be up to engineering, isn't it? You rise quickly and dash over to the elevator, slamming your hand into the call button. I'm going to take Cassie down to the sick bay. You can... Wait, how would the elevator work? Aside from your voice, the whole room remains totally silent. Most conspicuously absent, though, is the whirring of the elevator that would take you directly to sick bay. You rapidly press the call button in frustration. It's got to be a maintenance shaft or something. Idiot, what part of offline do you not understand? Quinn's not going anywhere until at least the backup systems are online, but that can't be done from the bridge. What do you mean? How do you get them back online? Dude, it's engineering. How is this guy on ships and he doesn't know, like, basic engineering? Like, this is an engineering problem. Ugh. It's an emergency failsafe. If there's a critical failure with the central computer and it can't function properly, then the entire ship will be shut down. That seems a little rash, but I guess that's what's happening. Then it enters a lockdown mode until it can be rebooted. All areas are sealed in case the shutdown is a result of enemy action. Sure, safety. The main computer in engineering needs to be physically rebooted to restore any sort of access. Of course, since this is a security system, you should know all this. You grit your teeth and stop yourself from snapping back at Vanessa. In the heat of the moment, all thought of process and procedure had left you completely. That's fair. All you'd been thinking about was getting Cassie back to sickbay. Placing your head in your hand, you pinch the bridge of your nose and try to focus. That's right, but isn't the order to reboot the central computer given from the bridge in that situation? Why did you say we can't? 2 reasons. First of all, this lockdown shouldn't affect backup systems. Okay? But for some reason, everything seems like it's offline. which means there's no internal communication system right now. Correct? Secondly, even if we did have the internal communication system, access to the central computer requires input codes, which are known only by the captain. Okay, so, sorry, I'm adjusting my mic. What I'm seeing is about to happen is we're going to have to probably go to the captain's quarters to get that access and probably go to engineering. Or in the event the captain is incapacitated, the second in command. Vanessa turns to look at Cassandra, who shifts slightly as she continues to talk to you. Head back to Cassie, kneeling beside her and placing her in the recovery position. Feeling the cold steel of the floor as you turn Cassie over, you take off your uniform jacket and lay it over her, which currently would be Lieutenant Commander Quinn, meaning that right now, both the people who know the necessary information to get the ship back up and running are out of action. There's got to be some way around all this. Weren't you listening? This isn't supposed to happen. We should at least have the backup systems in place. Yes, we probably got hit by an EMP. Do these guys not know what EMPs are? I feel like they don't know what it is. Without them, there's nothing we can do except sit around and wait for the air to run out. Oh, okay. What about the O'Brien? Can you contact them for support? My guy, you don't have any power. Stop asking stupid questions. Oh, God, I feel like my character's like the worst character almost because he's just so dumb. Everything is offline. What part of this are you not getting? That's what I'm saying. As you kneel over Cassie, your mind races through what Vanessa has just told you. You know that she's right, and that all the ship's emergency action plans revolve around the backup systems being operational, and without them online, there's next to nothing that can be done within the ship. Your mind catches on that point for a moment, and you can't help but wonder whether whoever wrote that plan was optimistic that they couldn't see a situation where the backups failed, or whether they were so pessimistic they felt if those systems were out of commission, there was no real hope for the crew either. Well, there's no way to know, isn't there? Pushing that thought out of your head, you desperately try to figure out a way to get Cassie to the sickbay. There's got to be something you know about the ship that would help. In all your time you've spent working as a security officer, there's got to be something that you've picked up that would... That's it. What? In the crew quarters, by the panels, the bunks can be removed and replaced. People use the space in the structure to hide contraband. What are you talking about? The ship's maintenance crawlways are accessed in the same way. If I'm right, you head back over to the elevators, but this time, instead of trying to call them, you begin to run your hands over the seams in the wall, panels on either side. Eventually, you notice a gap a few inches in length. Normally, maintenance would have a special tool to access this, but you can do the same thing with... I know I've got something on me somewhere. Where is it? Okay, the gun. Don't glitch out. Okay. I assume the gun. This thing is only for use in dire situations. I shouldn't go firing it off randomly. Oh, you want me to use my little card to shimmy? Oh, okay. Taking your ID card out of your pocket, you slide it into the gap, into the seam, until the seam meets some resistance. When it's about halfway in, would my ID card be strong enough to do this? I mean, maybe, but that means those walls are really thin. You slide it up and down a few times until you feel it stick on something, at which point you push harder. Suddenly, you hear the sound of multiple catches disengaging, and the panels falls towards you. Yeah, it wasn't a very strong panel. Taking the wall panel in both hands, you place it to the side of where it used to be attached. Okay, sure. Now, instead of a solid wall, you can just about make out an abscess large enough for someone to fit inside, with a series of rungs heading downwards into a darkness which opens up once they pass by where the elevator currently sits. How did you know to do this? This is one of the first tricks you learn as a security officer. Ship crews get very creative with where to stash things. With these panels, it makes sense the maintenance crawlways are accessed in a similar way. Well, great. Now you can crawl around in the walls in the dark. Very helpful. God, she's just so rude. You grit your teeth and breathe. You hadn't talked to Vanessa much since you first met, but you were now beginning to understand why she always ate alone in the mess hall. Fair enough. If I can get... why can't I read? If I can get in up here, it means that I can get out down in the central hub. It's a really interesting worded sentence. From there, I can see if I can get the emergency input codes from the captain and make contact with the chief in engineering. Surely the chief's already working on this. It would be really dumb if they weren't already doing it when I get there. Do you really think you can solve this by clambering around inside the walls? Even if you can make it to the central hub, the rest of the ship will... Lieutenant Lord, would you... Please keep your opinion to yourself. Thank you, Lieutenant Lord. You snap back, barely suppressing your anger at her constant pessimism. I didn't want to tell her to shut up. I feel like that'd be rude. But right now, I don't see many other options except for this one. And for all we know, we're the only people on the entire ship who might be able to do something. I'm not about to sit around and let everyone down. That's fair. Not this time. So I'm going to leave you here and look after Lieutenant Commander Quinn, unless you have anything you want to try that you think might help. Vanessa stares at you for a moment, as if weighing up what the best put down for the current situation is. Instead, she heads back to her station and starts flicking switches and pressing buttons on her control panel. Alright, you do that. I'll try to get the internal communication system working. Again, I don't think those electronic things are going to work because we got hit by an EMP, I think. Since the backups should work in a situation like this, maybe there's a way to get them back online. Wait, so I didn't need to open the panel now? Oh my god. Get moving, or you're going to stand around and gawk whilst I get everything done myself. You inadvertently sigh loudly as you turn around and reach out into the crawl space, grabbing a rung and placing your foot on one lower down. Hopefully I can get things back online with the chief and the captain himself. Just look after Lieutenant Commander Quinn until I come back, all right? Vanessa turns away from you, continuing to adjust the inputs on the communication system. Sure. Yeah, sure. All right. We lower ourselves into the darkness, taking it one rung at a time. Once you're past the stationary elevator, you can feel the space you're in open up around you. Carrying on downwards, you reach behind you every so often to see if you can feel the catch system that would keep the access panel attached. After a few attempts to find it, your fingers eventually brush over a catch, and with some coercion, you manage to get it to release, causing the whole panel to fall off the wall behind you and clatter onto the floor of the central hub. Cool, we made it. As you step to the crawlway, a loud banging starts from nearby. You immediately reorient yourself to face the room, placing your hand on your electroshock weapon just in case. As you scan the room in the dim light, the banging continues, and you realize it's not coming from anywhere in the central hub, but one of the elevators. Oh god, someone's stuck in there. With your hand still hovering on your weapon, you slowly move towards the noise, trying to make as little sound as possible, hoping that whoever or whatever is making it doesn't know you're there. Despite the darkness, you can see that the elevator doors are open slightly, with an inch or so gap between the two doors. As you angle yourself to try and see what's inside, your question is answered. Ha! Hey, who's out there? Whoever you are, help me get these stupid doors open. The whole thing's jammed. You pause for a moment. You haven't seen Hanson since the other day, outside your quarters. I know you're out there. I heard you. Get over here and help me get these doors open. Hey, what are you waiting around for? As Hanson continues to call out, you size up the situation. With the darkness of the room, you could easily come and go without being able to tell that it's you. On top of that, it's unlikely that he'd be able to force open the elevator doors on his own. Hey, come on, this isn't funny. Who's out there? Stop jerking me around. It's petty, but part of you almost relishes at the idea of Hanson seeing how it feels to be trapped and unable to do anything. Haru, if you're messing with me, I'll kick your ass. Still, he's a member of the crew, and as a security officer, it's your role to keep them all safe, regardless of how much of a dick they might be. You take a deep breath and... I want to leave him there so bad, but I feel like we need to be a good person, because the game really implies that you need to get him on your side, I think. So I think I'm going to have to help him open the doors, as much as I don't want to. Hold it for a second before realizing one long, constant sigh. Hey, I heard you. I know you're out there. Get me out. All right, Ensign. I'll take the door on the right. You take the door on the left. On the count of 3, we pull. Great. Everyone on board. And Oh my god, he's such an asshole. Great, everyone on board, and it's Clyke Coward. Figured you'd stop by here, find a nice little space to crawl up and hide in. Helping me out so we can trade places and you can ride it out until the action's over. You immediately begin to regret your decision. Well, Cruz, do you Cruz, do you want my help to get out of here or not? Whatever. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. The two of you both heave against the elevator's doors, which shift slightly, but not enough for Hansen to get out. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3. This time, the doors yield a little more to your efforts. After they open a few more inches, you step back to catch your breath and watch as Hansen sticks his arm through the gap, but struggles to get any further than that. Once more, and we should have you out of there. Shame your girlfriend isn't here. At least she's got a backbone she could be putting into this. Okay, dude. God. I'm trying to be a good person here, and he's just being a dick for no reason. You freeze for a moment as all of your muscles stiffen reflexively, and a wave of anger flows through you. Excuse me, Ensign? You heard me. She's the one of... Yeah, I can't read. She's one of you two with any stone. She's the one of you two with any stones. Who writes like that? If she hadn't been there to save you from the other day, you'd have what? Think hard about your answer, Ensign. Give me the wrong answer, and you can try to squeeze that thick skull of yours through that gap without any of my help. Awkward silence. Forget it. That's what I thought. Now get ready. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. It takes the two of you a few attempts, but finally you manage to push the doors open to the point where Hansen can make his way through the gap between the two of them. Free of the elevator, Hansen dusts himself down, and looks around whilst adjusting his jacket. So, what the hell's going on? What's happened to the ship? Why has everything stopped working? There should be backups or something, right? You pause for a moment. Despite having been on the bridge when everything went wrong, you probably have as much of an idea as Hansen would. Honestly, we've got no idea. I was on the bridge when it all happened. We made contact with the O'Brien, but there was this flash, and then Commander Quinn had been knocked out. All the systems were offline, even the backups. I managed to get off the bridge using the maintenance crawlway. Now we're trying to figure out a way to reboot the computer to get everything back online. Just great. I knew this ship was a piece of junk the moment I stepped on board. You said you guys had a plan to get things up and running, yeah? Yeah, kinda. Great. You can handle that. I'm gonna go check on the crew. Have you seen Haru? No, I haven't run into them. Okay, then I'll try their quarters. With that, Hansen heads into the darkness towards the foreside thoroughfare. He stops briefly, turning to face you. Lieutenant? Yeah? Thanks, or whatever. See, we're making friends. The pilot quickly turns on his heels and disappears into the darkness. Don't mention it. No one to talk to. Okay. We're just trying to get to the engineering, right? As you leave the central hub and enter the long corridor that compromises the aft thoroughfare, the first thing you notice is the sound of your steps on the metal floor ringing out and echoing down the corridor. Normally, the vibrations from the engines would dull this noise, and it would be barely perceptible over their low and steady rumble. You'd gotten to the point where you didn't even notice the constant noise at this end of the ship, but now that the corridor is silent, its absence hits you. Okay. You know what? Okay, so it's locked down. So I'm sitting here. Maybe the life support section. Or the secure... Let's go there. Wait. Yeah, let's go here. You swipe your keycard through the card reader set into the terminal by the armory's door, and there's absolutely no response. Looking at the terminal, you can see that there's no indication that it's working at all. Figures that with everything shut down, this wouldn't work. I should go and find the chief and see if there's some way that we can get things up and running. Hopefully I don't need to blow any doors open to do that, because there's no way I'm getting in here. Can I use it? No. I should be able to find the chief in engineering. Okay, this is our first puzzle. Maybe we go to our room. Can we go... Okay, I just picked engineering. At the end of the theft chest over there, you met with a substantial blast door with the word engineering stenciled up. Yeah, so we already saw that. You run your hand over the surface before rapping on it with your knuckles. Rather than the low ring, which would indicate it being relatively thin, this door returns a higher pitched noise, indicating that it's significantly thicker than normal. It's a blast door, yeah. Unlike the rest of the doors on this ship, which are designed as entrances and exits, you can tell that this one exists more to block one section off from the other. Correct. You instantly dismiss any thoughts of forcing it open. It's likely that even the contents of the armory couldn't shift it. Okay. After a minute or two... Why say of? A minute or two of fruitless... That's a spelling mistake. Of fruitlessly inspecting it, you shrug it to yourself. The only thing you can do right now is hope that the chief is nearby. Hey, chief! You pound on the door with your fist, hoping that the sound makes its way through. It should. Chief, can you hear me? Okay. You continue to pound on the door and yell, stopping every so often to hear if there's any kind of response. Chief, I'm out here. Chief, hey! After a few minutes worth of attempting to make contact, you stop and flex your fingers on the right of your hand, cracking your knuckles to try and dismiss the discomfort. Given the size of the engineering department, you begin to think about how close the chief would need to be to even hear you and the odds of that happening. Before you can resume your attempts, though, you hear a dull, repetitive thudding coming from the other side. Oh god, is it Morse code? Chief, can you hear me? I'm out here. You call, pressing your ear up to the blast door to see if you can hear an answer. Instead, you just hear the same dull, repetitive thudding. At first, it seems random and erratic, but the longer you listen, and you begin to realize there's a pattern. Okay. We're listening. Ugh! That's great, but what does it mean? In defeat, you slam your fist against the door one more time. Chief, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'll try and find a way to get in there with you. Okay. At least I know someone's in there. There's got to be some way I can get in touch with them. Send them a signal. Maybe there's something I haven't thought of yet. An emergency communication system. Something that's not tied to the ship. Think. I say, if we can make it, let's move to, not Cassie's, but let's go to my quarters. Or life support. Life support might have... Wait, are these showing where the access tunnels are? Hold on. Yeah, because this... Wait a minute. Yeah, because there's no way through here. Let's try this. Yeah, let's go to the sickbay. The elevators are clearly out of action. I have to get things back up and running before I can get Cassie to the sickbay. Okay, fine. So this is like one section of the ship. Can I make it to my quarters? I guess my quarters are the one place in this entire ship I can guarantee that there's nothing helpful for the situation. I can enjoy a well-earned rest later. With the power off, there's no getting inside, and it doesn't seem like anyone's in there right now. Anyway, is it going to give me the same message? Yep. Okay. Let's head back out here. All the doors are seemingly locked, though. Can't use anything, right? It'd take a lot more than brute force to get in there right now. Okay. Even if I did get in there, it's mechanically vended anyway. A bad place without power. Okay. Maybe the mess hall? I'd go for a coffee right about now, but I don't think there's anything in there that will be helpful. Okay. We can't go to the hangar. Can we get to the airlock? Yeah, maybe we can go outside. As you enter, the airlock hatch door looms in the darkness as a shiver runs through you and you rub your forearms. It wasn't something you'd noticed until now, but as you feel the goosebumps that cover your skin, you realize that the ship's temperature has now dropped noticeably. Okay. I've got to find a way to get things up and running again. I'd like to use the suits. Emergency space suits for use in the event of ship depressurization, failure with life support systems, or if the crew have to abandon the ship. Hopefully I can get this solved without needing these extra air supply. Wait, I've just changed the batteries on these to make sure the radios would work in an emergency. I wonder if any of the other radios on board will pick up the signal. Thank God I did that quest. Oh, that's why we do quests. Ha! I bet that's what the chief was trying to tell me. Of course. She'd come up with a plan like this before anyone else. Now, let's see if I can get... if I can reach her. Okay. Before we have the next conversation, we're going to end it here for this episode, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I'm Elwirfy, and I will definitely see you guys next time. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already.